Well, 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 what do we have here, Princess Katya? What do we have off there in the distance?
I would say it's a meeting location.
It's a meeting location for a Sasquatch. That is correct. Now, first appearances, it does look similar to something a human may want to live in. It reminds me of Native American teepees. Is that correct?
Let me tell you, I would definitely live in there. I would live in there.
Do you hear that? Princess Katya will live in there. And that is what we are going to do. And the reason why we feel safe in the Sasquatch den, this is a Sasquatch den, this is what they look like, is because Sasquatch travel south for the winter. So we will be okay, and we are going to stay here for a day, a night, a week. We haven't decided yet, but we're going to live in the Sasquatch den over there yonder in the distance. Isn't that correct, Princess and Professor Katya?
Yeah, we'll be in there for hours.
Hours.
And hours.
We're not worried. I'm not worried a bit. Well, I'm a little worried, but we'll be okay.
In the wee hours of the night.
The wee hours of the night. There's other creatures in these woods, but we're going to rough it out, and we'll be okay. Why? Because I'm president of the Bigfoot community, and look at who I have with me.
The Bigfoot goes south.
The
for
Bigfoot
winter.
goes south. We're not worried about Bigfoot.
No.
Should
If
be
it was summer, I'd be worried.
Dogman, yes. Chupacabra, yes. But I have Princess Katya with me to protect me. Now let's look at some of the finer points of this Sasquatch den. This is a very interesting find. And in the summer and spring, you'll come here. I come down here with the dogs, and you can smell the skunkness. Can you still smell the skunkiness?
I can smell it when I really get down there and get real gritty down there.
If we sniff the ground right now, we're smelling some skunk, I guarantee you. Let's enter inside the Sasquatch den, and I'll show you some of the finer features of this place and why we feel safe and comfortable staying in the Sasquatch den. Now, if you notice, the height of this is not that big. They have to go into these sideways, and they come down like this in this fashion. That's a fact because I've seen them doing it. I'm one of the few researchers that have seen a Sasquatch going into the den in this manner. They do this so that if their place is found, people think that it's a human being that built this. It is not. It is a Bigfoot that built this, and I'll show you some of the things that told signs that a Bigfoot has been sleeping here. Come on in. One, you'll notice in the area, this would be bedding. Once again, they're using pine cones. They don't only use pine cones for toilet paper, they will use them for bedding. They like pine. If you're in a pine forest, you're gonna find Sasquatch and Bigfoot. It's a fact. Now, another thing, people think that Sasquatch, they don't use tools, they don't know about fire or anything like that. They can do basic masonry work or stone work, but it's very basic, it's very primitive.
It's nice. It's really nice.
What is this hearth for? This is for fire. Absolutely. They will make fire, but it has nothing to do with them keeping warm. It's all about ceremonial stuff. It's believed that they have fire, and they only use fire because they're afraid if they use fire often that humans will find them more. They use it, the hearth, when a baby Sasquatch is born. To celebrate the birth of the baby Sasquatch, they'll start a fire in here, and they'll do it very much like primitive man will do by taking a stick and just friction until the fire starts. Once again, they use pine to help. You know, pine has a lot of terpenoids in it, and it will catch fire very easy. They only do this, I repeat, only do this once every year after the baby Sasquatch is born. They have to celebrate. It's a joyous occasion, as it is for all beings. It doesn't matter if it's a dog or a human or a Sasquatch. Having a baby is a wonderful time.
This is a pretty big fireplace, although it's not too large, but if I had to stay here for the night in shelter and I didn't want some other creature to find me, I wouldn't make a fire, but I would sleep in here because it's the warmest area. It's sheltered and you can really curl up into a ball in here. So this is my preferred sleeping spot. And if Peter wanted to, we could both squeeze in here together.
Do you hear that? The Princess Katya professor said that we could spoon in there to stay warm.
It's nice. It's really nice.
Now, if you notice these twigs that are bent into this sort of oval shape, it's very much the shape of genitalia. And the reason for this is it has to do with the ceremonial birth of the child. And the placement of this, if you notice, is right above this hearth where they have their once-a-year fire. And what they do is when the child is born, they take the afterbirth, they put it in this ceremonial vaginal shaped stick thing, and they dry it and smoke it. And once it's dried and smoked, they consume it. They consume it the way that some humans consume it after birth. That's why they call it after birth. You eat it. I don't recommend it, but that's what some animals do. Almost all animals eat the afterbirth, and some humans that are, well, on the fringe will eat it. I do not recommend it. It sounds gross to me, but that is what a Sasquatch does. This is a wonderful thing, and I'll be calling Cornell and sending them down here and telling them about this, and they will take this and they will study this and maybe get some DNA off of it. Let me give it a whiff. Yep, that's exactly what it is. I smell Sasquatch placenta all over this.
It's evident with the lack of rope in the teepee at the peak of the teepee that the Sasquatch have a developed understanding of balance, where these cornucopia of sticks can just balance here in this conical nature with such ease. The Sasquatch are very powerful and skilled creatures. It is actually believed, with the rapid nature that they're able to build these teepees in various pine forests, that perhaps they can sort of, from a distance, sort of pole vault the large, long sticks into place. So they're highly skilled spear masters and yes, they can also pole vault.
They understand the basics of putting sticks together in a teepee fashion, but they could never build a log cabin. The Professor Katya, Princess Katya, wasn't here, and I had to choose where I would sleep. It would be over here. Now, what I would do is I would sleep as a Sasquatch would sleep. And I might move this stick around. I might move this and move this to where I would use these probably as a pillow. These look very comfortable as a pillow. They prop my head up like a Sasquatch would do. That's what these are here for. And then I might just lay down here like this, as a Sasquatch would do. And this is maybe one of the more comfortable. This is great. I might come down here by myself without the professor and just hang out. Or maybe I won't, but I feel great. I feel extremely comfortable right now. I feel like I want to curl up in the fetal position and just enjoy life as a Sasquatch would. If you notice, there's a frying pan in the tree. And you might think that, oh, this is a camp for a human. No. Notice the height of where the frying pan is. It's way above 6 feet. It's for a Bigfoot. It's a known fact that Bigfoot have an iron deficiency. This is an animal that is not from this planet. And what you'll do in Sasquatch areas, you'll find frying pans, rusty cans, stuff like that. They'll lick it the way that a deer would lick a salt block. They need this for their own health, their nutritional health. They lick the rust off of the frying pan. That's why it's at this height. And rusty frying pans, and just doing what a Sasquatch does, mating with my Sasquatch mate and waiting for the birth of my Sasquatch child, and then once a year have my ceremonial fire. I feel like I'm channeling the Bigfoot right now. Oh, what a joyous life it must be. Glorious. It's just glorious. Oh, to be a Sasquatch. Maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Peter Caine, president of the Bigfoot community, and one of the most romantic Sasquatch enthusiasts that I've ever met in my life. This area right here is circular. You see, and so circular things have a high significance for Bigfoot, as does the circular teepee, which they use as a meeting ground. But this area here, it would be suspected that it would be perhaps some sort of pissing area, where it's sort of a ceremonial thing where, because they're thought to come from another planet, that maybe they believe that pissing in there would somehow transport their urine to their home planet.
Correct. She is 100% correct. Now, another thing that is interesting about this area is that there's a lot of pine trees. And it is a known fact that Bigfoot, when they defecate, they use pine cones as toilet paper. They also, you'll see, there's a creek over here, and when it dries up, that is where they'll defecate, and that's where you can find fecal matter from the Bigfoot. Correct, Professor Katia?
Yeah. I think everyone can understand the pine cone is similar to like the roll of toilet paper, the cardboard left over after all the toilet paper's gone. Similar concepts.
There's a reason why you should subscribe to this channel. If you're looking for Bigfoot and Sasquatch, we have all the information that you need. Don't waste your time. Subscribe.